is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Boss McClellan.
And this is It's Movie Time.
It sure is.
Oh, Liddy, it's a new year.
Oh,
isn't that great?
Oh.
So do you have a happy film for me?
Yeah. We're all in a hurry to say good riddance to 2020. But now we go to a science fiction movie.
Okay.
Directed and starring George Clooney.
Good choice.
Yes.
What's the name of it?
It's called Midnight Sky.
Oh, okay. Well, we had a delightful experience last week in looking at the midnight sky.
Yes.
We saw the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn.
Right.
Once in how many thousands of years? Yeah. So that's hopeful. So
Indeed.
Is Clooney's Midnight Sky, is that a hopeful movie?
You don't know, and we're not going to tell them any more than that. An unnamed...
Well, I think generally speaking it's not hopeful.
I know, I didn't want to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the premise is, of course, that we've done something wrong with our planet, 2049.
We sure have.
And as Clooney tells us, he's the major actor there. He's telling us that, and oh yes, his name is Augustine.
Right.
And, he's telling us that we made a mistake.
We sure did. Some unnamed catastrophe has rendered the Earth uninhabitable.
Yeah, isn't that interesting that they did this film before the virus?
Right, right.
So, and they're unspecific about what that is, although it's something in the air that has forced people temporarily below the surface.
And I think all of the Earth's population has evacuated. They've left the Earth.
Yeah.
Except for Augustine. He is a space
well,
scientist.
I think most everybody who's there is down below, is underneath the Earth. But that's just temporary, so it's uninhabitable.
Okay. But he stays behind in an observatory in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
He's dying, and we're not told why, but it's probably some form of cancer. And he discovers a little girl asleep in the observatory, and her name is Iris, and she doesn't say more than 2 words throughout the whole film.
No, I know.
think.
And that's an important part of the film that we struggled a bit
Yes.
on the storyline.
Right.
Pretty cryptic
Uh-huh.
about who she was.
And I think that's what makes the movie enjoyable to me, because I found it mesmerizing, and I found myself thinking beyond what I was seeing in the film, trying to figure out what was going on and the relationship that these people had to one another. Meanwhile, there is a spaceship that is returning from Jupiter. They're trying to find a place that human beings could live.
One of the moons has very habitable
Right.
Circumstances. So we're looking to move people there.
Right. And they don't know what has happened on Earth.
Right.
And they're planning to return, and so Augustine is desperate to get a hold of them to say, do not come back.
Right.
And the observatory where he is doesn't have the best reception. So he and little Iris trudge through this blizzard that's frightening to find a place where they can get in touch with the spaceship, which they do.
Yeah.
And on board the spaceship, the communications commander, they call her Sully, and she's pregnant with the commander's child.
Yes.
But you don't get much of an emotional connection with those people at all, I don't think.
No, and she's played by Felicity Jones, a favorite of mine.
Yes.
She played Stephen Hawking's wife, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. In The Theory of Everything. Yes. So she's quite good, but in fact, I even noticed in looking at it again that she has braces.
Oh, really?
Here. And I hope that she doesn't change that overbite. I think that's one of the cute parts of her. Anyway, so she's the head of communications. She eventually makes communication with Augustine.
Right.
And so eventually he tells them that they have to turn back. Now he takes little Iris to some outpost where, prior to this, he takes her to this outpost so that they can make communication with this spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
And Lenny, what are the challenges? What are the human elements of this? We've seen all this stuff before, right? I mean, we've had great science fiction, Ad Astra,
Mhm.
Gravity. We've had very fine, in the recent years, Martian. We've had fine science fiction. So what in the human realm does this show us?
You just have to have hope, and sometimes you don't know what you're hoping for. And in this case, in this movie, it's all very cloudy, and even among the astronauts on this spaceship, I found there was very little emotional connection between them. And we learn a little bit about Augustine through flashbacks,
Yes,
but
right.
not really enough. So you don't know what their hopes and dreams are. You don't know enough about them as people to even conjure up what they might even been thinking about.
It's tough to make emotional connections. I agree with you about the spaceship and its crew. Even though we know that the commander and the communications officer are lovers and she's having this baby,
Right, right,
we don't get a lot of, they're very cool. They're very cool.
yeah,
We do see the young Augustine, the young George Clooney,
right,
and we do get some insight into him.
uh-huh.
And he's not the warmest human being you
No.
ever saw.
He's a dedicated scientist, that is for sure.
In fact, he leaves his love to stay with his role.
Right.
She has to leave without him,
Uh-huh.
and she's pregnant.
Right,
Or then she says
Well-
she's not.
yes, she says she's not.
But I believe that she is. I believe she
Yeah.
said that to make it easier for him.
Yeah, it's, you and I talked after we got done watching the movie, and our thoughts were all over the place, because you were trying to figure out the connection between these people. And even though there was not an emotional feeling going on between them, you just had to assume that something was going on.
I know. Well-
And the audience is, drawn into this, and I found myself thinking about this movie for days after I saw it, still trying to figure it out.
Well, I've said something from, I think that the site was Decider to you about the ending.
Yes.
Because you and I were just scrambling, trying to
Right.
figure
We-
exactly what it was.
We nailed it, we won't say
Well, we
what
got
it
it
is.
pretty close,
Yeah, we got
exactly.
very close,
But that it needed that explication
right,
is an indication of how minimalist the movie is, which is a form that I like, minimalism,
Right.
but it does make you scratch your head
yeah,
and say what's really going on here. But when you put it all together, it's very satisfactory. I guess the theme that always pleases me about these, and even in superhero films, is the attention to family. And that how family, no matter what your family constitutes, you want to get back to family. And so everybody's journeying back, trying to get
You
home.
wanna go home.
Yes, right. This is as good a Thanksgiving movie as anything.
Right,
But it is anew with the baby Jesus and all the other hopes that we have. There is something there about humanity, regardless of when it is, 2021 or 2049. People struggle to get back.
yes,
And as we see with the two crew members, that's an important sacrifice they're going to make
right,
to make sure they get back to their families. And that trip is all about getting to a new planet, coming back.
mhm.
Um,
And let's hope, well, we won't say
I
any
know.
more what we hope or want.
All right, Linda Boss McClellan.
Oh, golly,
The film is The Midnight Sky,
It sure
starring
is.
and directed by George Clooney.
George Clooney.
What grade do you award it?
I was like mesmerized by it, again, the score and the cinematography were out of this world, and so that really kept me connected to the film. I'll give it a B+.
Good. And I am going to be giving it a B. And I guess that mine is grounded in the fact that it repeats so many of the other science fiction films. So much of that is
Yeah.
very similar. And because there are long sequences like the repair of the ship that I
I
just
know.
find is a waste of time.
I enjoyed that,
I know you did. I know, very good. All right, Midnight Sky.
yes. Let's go out and have a drink, a toast to 2021, may it be a better year.